Welcome to Life in Calgary, Alberta. I'm Patrick Murray, and today we're talking about buying a home in Calgary, Alberta, and the latest information that you need to know. But before we do that, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is about what it's like to eat, sleep, breathe, live, and play in Calgary, Alberta, then please just hit that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified every single time I release a new video. Now, I've lived in several major cities in my adult life, but I settled in Calgary way back in 2001. And not only that, I've been a real estate professional here since 2010. And all of this means I have some specialized knowledge about the city of Calgary and the surrounding bedroom communities. So if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of these bedroom communities and you would like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me. Send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you. Okay, let's get into this right now. Let's talk about buying a home in Calgary, Alberta, and the latest information you need to know right after this. So the burning question on the minds of many buyers right now is, will the Bank of Canada continue to cut interest rates? Now, as of the filming of this video, the Bank of Canada has just cut the key lending rate by 50 points. That means it was sitting at 4.25% and we're now sitting at 3.75%. Now, this is the fourth cut the bank has made thus far in 2024 when we started out at 5% and now here we are at that 3.75%. So I know a question that many people might be asking is, well, it's come down incrementally by 25 points each. Why have they gone and made this drastic cut at 50 points this time around? And the reason for that is because the Bank of Canada has been watching inflation in our country, and the latest data has shown that inflation has come down more quickly than the bank anticipated. And it also means that our economy is a little bit weaker than they originally anticipated. So the bank is trying to stimulate spending by making interest rate cuts. And so they've cut it by these 50 basis points to wait and see what's going to happen. Will this cause their target rate for inflation to sit around that 2% where they want to be, or do they need to make more cuts to stimulate spending in our economy? So a lot of people are saying, well, are they going to make further cuts? We think they will. When those will be, we don't know. Again, keep in mind, the bank needs to look at what's happening with the economy before they decide what to do. But what we do know, instead of trying to predict the future, is what's happening right now. We know rates are way lower than they used to be. So if you're considering making a purchase, now might be the right time. Now, another question many buyers might be asking is, why does it appear that many buyers are waiting on the sidelines to make a purchase? And the reason for that is because many buyers are hoping that the market is going to continue to soften and that interest rates are going to come down further. Now, this is a bit of a dangerous game, and I'll try to explain it as best I can. First off, we are seeing an uptick in market activity in other major cities in Canada. And that's good because they have had a fair bit of a pullback. But they need that there. I mean, prices in Toronto and Vancouver are astronomical anyway. Now here we don't really have the supply. We are still below our long-term averages and what we would expect for supply of properties on the market. But yes, it has slowed in the activity the last few months, and we have seen a little bit of a softening in prices. Not a lot, just a little. Now, if the Bank of Canada continues to cut rates, and who's to say if the latest interest rate cut will stimulate the economy? But what will happen is Canadians will start spending money, and that means they're going to start buying homes. And when a lot of buyers get into a market at once, it creates competition and prices start to go up. So how low is low enough for an interest rate? Well, it's hard to say. It really depends on that individual buyer. But again, you have to keep in mind that you can't have it both ways. You can't have really low rates and really soft prices because that's not how it works. If we're going to get low rates, we're going to get a lot of competition. Prices are going to increase. So now might be the time to buy, and now might be the time to connect with a good mortgage broker to discuss your options. Now, another question many buyers are wondering about is, will Calgary experience a market correction? Well, we have to look at what stimulates a market correction. First off, generally speaking, the local economy has to be bad. And that's just not the case. Our local economy here in the city of Calgary is very, very strong right now. In fact, I was just hearing a report on the news saying that this year, Canada is shipping more oil and producing more oil than any other year. And I know there's people out there that won't like that too much, but it's the reality of the situation. And what does this do? Well, 20% of our economy, roughly in Alberta, is gas and oil. So that will affect our economy in a positive way. Now, the other thing that affects pricing has to do with what's going on in the real estate market. Yes, we have a little bit of a lull with some softening prices right now, but we also have an undersupply of homes right now. So we don't have an oversupply of properties on the market. We're still not at those long-term averages. So even though we are seeing that bit of a lull, the indicators are not saying that we're going to have a market correction. And I don't believe that's going to happen anytime soon. In fact, we're seeing an uptick in those markets in the other major Canadian cities, and we expect that's going to happen here again real soon. So the long and short of it is, if you're waiting for that market correction, you may be waiting a very long time, and you might miss out on opportunities on the market to buy a home right now. Now, something important that you need to be aware of as a buyer is, as of October 20th, 2024, buyers will now face increased closing costs due to new land titles registration levy introduced in the budget for 2024. Now, what does this mean? Well, the new levy says that they'll replace the current variable fees for transferring land and registering mortgages with a flat rate. So buyers will now pay $5 for every $5,000 of property or mortgage value, plus a $50 flat fee. And this applies not only to land transfers and mortgage registrations, but also to some caveats. Now, to give you a better idea what this means, let's compare the current fees with the new ones. So right now, buyers, well, what buyers have been paying previous to this time is buyers were paying $50 plus $2 for every $5,000 of property value when transferring land. And for mortgage registrations, it's $50 plus $1.50 for every $5,000 of mortgage amount. Now, with the new levy that's come into play, the charge will now be $5 for $5,000 for both land transfers and mortgage registrations, along with the $50 flat fee. So how does this impact buyers? Well, let's look at a typical real estate transaction. If you're purchasing a $750,000 home with a $650,000 mortgage under the current fee structure, you'd pay the previous fee structure, you'd pay roughly $595 in fees. But under the new fee structure, that's going to increase to $1,500. And that's more than what you were paying, more than double what you were paying before. So yes, this is an increased cost. But guys, it's the new normal. So if you waited to buy a home, these are the new fees that you're going to have to pay for closing costs on top of everything else. So to summarize, will the Bank of Canada continue to cut interest rates? We believe it's highly likely the Bank of Canada will continue to cut interest rates. Why are buyers holding off on purchasing homes right now? Well, buyers are waiting for rates to decrease and for prices to soften. But once the economy becomes stimulated, rates may be lower, but prices and competition will increase. So now may be the time to consider buying a home. And will there be a market correction? Well, guys, we don't believe there's a market correction anywhere in sight now or in the near future. And the new Alberta land title registration costs are now a reality in Alberta, and this is an added expense to you, the buyer, for closing costs. As I said, if you are considering a move to the city of Calgary or one of the bedroom communities and you would like some assistance to purchase a home, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a text, email, or a phone call. I will absolutely get back to you so you can live your life in Calgary, Alberta.